As part of the course on automata theory, we talk about three important things. One is languages, missions, and computations. So under this we understand the computing power of missions. So the missions could be coffee vending machine, it could be ATM, it could be calculators, it could be computers, modern day workstations, supercomputers. So it could be any computing device. It could be mobile phone, washing machine, and automatic electric vehicles. So it could be any computing machine. And under this banner we understand the computing power of these machines, what can be computed, what cannot be computed, and so on. A formal way of representing what can be computed is precisely languages. So languages will express a formal representation of the computing power of machines. So what can be computed, one can express formally using languages. So this talks about computing power of machines. For example, let's look at these machines. Say if you look at coffee vending machine, something that is possible to compute and something that's not possible, so that you understand the limitations of this machine. So coffee vending machine, let's assume it is programmed to supply coffee, tea, and so on, and it may not supply, say, Horlicks, and it may not give you a curd rice, it may not give you, say, soups, and so on. So the message is this: here is a machine. With this machine, this is what it can compute, or this is what it can offer as a service, and these things cannot be computed, or these things cannot be offered as a service. Look at ATM machine. So it can dispense maybe, say, 1000 rupee note and 500 rupee note and, say, 200 rupee note, and it cannot dispense coins and say rupee 1 and 5 and 20 and 50. So the objective is to dispense cash for a given amount, but even in that there is a restriction that it can only dispense cash if the input amount is multiple of, say, 200 or 500 and so on. And whereas if you ask for, say, 527 rupees, then it may not give you. So the message is, with this machine, there is something that it can compute, there is something that it cannot compute. So there is a limitation attached to this machine. Look at, say, calculators. Let's assume it is a scientific calculator. So apart from basic arithmetic like this, one can compute a factorial, one can compute sine theta. But if you want to search, if you want to check whether a number is prime or not, and you want to sort, say, 10 numbers, so those things are not possible with the scientific calculator. It's a computing machine, and with this is what is possible. So the language that it can have is only this. The limitation attached to this machine is this. These are all the tasks that it cannot compute. And on the similar line, look at computers. It can perform search, it can perform sort, it can check whether a number is prime or not, it can compute determinant of a matrix, and things like that. But you ask a computer to list all the numbers in the natural number set or R and things like that, and list all C programs. So things like this computers cannot do. So this tells you that you look at any mission, so you discover a mission as part of your research, so some mission, then there is something that it can compute, say problem 1, problem 2 and so on. Then there are problems that it cannot compute. So the idea is this: with each mission there is a limitation. So the computing power of a mission is limited. So as part of computability theory, we wish to understand, for this course it's going to be computers, and it's going to be some mathematical models, and which are closely related to modern day computing missions. We shall be looking at a couple of computing missions and its power, meaning what can be computed, what cannot be computed. And with that, you get to understand that there are limitations to modern day computers as well. Even for a supercomputer, there is a limitation. There are problems that are unsolvable in modern day supercomputers. So now, when you try understanding the limitation of a mission, for example, we know with calculators, these problems are unsolvable. These problems have no solution in the context of calculators. Now you start asking, how do we improve the computing power of calculators? How do we refine the mission, or what twist one should give to the underlying model so that one can increase its computing power? So you twist the model, you increase the computing power of calculator, you get something called computers. Now you get to see that even with computers there are problems that are unsolvable. Now you ask what additional power one should give to modern day computers so that questions like this can be answered. The larger message is this: you have a computing model and there are problems that it can solve. You formally express them as a language, and there are problems that it cannot solve. Now you start asking, how do you modify the mission so that its computing power increases? Something that cannot be solved using the previous model can be solved using the current model. Again, with the current model, you study its computing power, identify its limitations, go for the next model. So like that, when we move from one model to another model, we get to understand its computing power and its limitation. In the process, we discover newer and newer models. That's precisely what we want to understand or investigate as part of the module on automata theory. When you know you can compute something, then we ask how efficiently you can compute, how quickly I can compute, how quickly I can get to a solution. Such a study falls under complexity